Welcome to the Scottish Rite Journal podcast, an audio presentation of the Scottish Rite Journal, brought to you by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Mother Supreme Council of the World. This week's article is The Role of the Masonic Chaplain by Dr. Robert J. F. Elsner, 33rd degree, and comes from the November-December 2022 issue of the Scottish Rite Journal. As Masons, we are men acclaimed to be good, trying to be better. We are a body of men of faith, although of different faiths, who all come together to glorify the divine in our own ways, without letting differences separate us. Yet, often one of the central offices of our Masonic organizations is left as an afterthought, the chaplain. What is it that makes this leadership position so essential? The word chaplain descends from the medieval Latin word capellanus, meaning holder of a little cloak. A Roman soldier named Martin met a freezing, half-naked beggar at the gate of the city of Amiens in what is now northern France. Feeling compassion for the man, Martin cut his own cloak in half with a sword and shared it with the man in need. Later that night, the beggar appeared to Martin in a dream, revealing himself to be Jesus. Martin left the army and became a soldier of Christ, founding the first monastery in Gaul, now France, and later, France's patron saint. Those who followed Martin's example and held the cloak for Christ by serving the needs of others were called chaplains. The chaplain in a lodge should have a special place in the hearts of the members. In the book Spiritual Friendship by the Cistercian monk Aelred of Rievaulx, we find a classic statement integral to the fraternal chaplaincy. Whatever counsel is to be given is more easily received from a friend and is more steadfastly retained. For a friend's power in counseling must needs be great, since there can neither be doubt of his loyalty nor suspicion of flattery. This is equally true today. One who is a chaplain to his friends and brothers is under multiple obligations to lead and counsel well, which may be far beyond what some expect when installed as chaplains in their lodges. This is because chaplains are ministers of presence. They are representatives of the divine whose simple presence should add to the meaning of the scriptures we read and the instructions we give in degrees and orders. Chaplains are not to be proselytizers who recruit for their particular faith or denomination, but unifiers and comforters. They listen and help, counsel and console. This is why pulpit ministers may not always be the best chaplains. They are often used to presenting, not simply being present and listening. Indeed, one of the biggest fears of some ordained ministers serving as lodge chaplains is the worry that brothers may substitute their lodge activity for participation in a traditional house of worship. This should not be so. Freemasonry is not religion, but rather religion's handmaiden, and should never be a substitute. Lodge chaplains are not lodge preachers. Rather, they should be open-minded and empathetic, which are listening skills. An early church father, Tertullian, is credited with saying that God created man with perfect proportions, 2 ears and only 1 mouth. Similarly, the chaplain should listen more than he speaks. As a representative of the Almighty, the chaplain has a duty to help people, in or out of lodge, who might be at their most vulnerable, whether they are confused, troubled, terminally ill, or stationed far away from home. A chaplain has a special obligation to try and forge deep, meaningful bonds that will sustain people through the very toughest circumstances. This is the basis for real leadership, showing forth the example that must be the norm in large. Having the ability to listen to and establish a relationship with people from any type of background is the most important prerequisite for being a chaplain. According to the integrity of his heart and guided by the skillfulness of his hands. Psalm chapter 78, verse 72. If you never have looked up your Grand Lodge Constitution and read what it says about chaplains, please do so and be willing to champion changes to make us better, stronger, and more loving. If your lodge's bylaws do not have specific content on the role of the chaplain, consider inserting it. Help your lodge chaplain become trained in ways that will help him serve the lodge and community better. Help the chaplains to help us all become better men. Like and share this article, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you wish to comment, please leave one, and as a reminder, hit the notifications bell. Any accompanying photographs or citations for this article can be found in the corresponding print edition. The Scottish Rite Journal is published by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Mother Supreme Council of the World. Mark Dreisenstock, 33rd degree, Managing Editor. I'm your host, Matt Bowers.